What the f*** was that? Can we watch Avengers now? Okay, maybe it looks sort of fun. I mean, it's got Thor and Valkyrie, how bad can it... What the f*** was that? Can we watch Avengers again? Here's how to enjoy. Men in Black International was interesting. Like, it wasn't great, but it wasn't awful. It was fun. A fun time at the movies. I have to remember that we are going into summer movie season, and fun movies are the name of the game. I usually start with the good, but I want to start out with the stars of the movie. Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson. Their chemistry in Thor Ragnarok was enough to get me to buy a ticket to this movie. Big mistake. Every woman in this movie was in love with Chris Hemsworth, and I mean, why wouldn't they be? But he was an asshole in this movie. Actually, thinking about it, no wonder all the women in this movie loved him. For real though, everyone in this film is all like, Agent H has changed, but we never get a reason why. He doesn't take his job seriously, he has no urgency when it's needed in the film, and he's just an ass. I love Chris Hemsworth, we all do. Why wouldn't we? But I actually struggled to find him likeable in this film. Congratulations, Congratulations, F. Gary Gray. You did the impossible. You made Chris Hemsworth unlikable. He also did something else impossible. Where was this chemistry? What happened? Tessa Thompson just kind of reacts to everything in this movie. She can't choose between being massively shocked at what's going on or acting like it's just a normal day for her. Her finding the Men in Black really needed some more explanation. Oh, she's smart and she can hack NASA and also has no life. I get that we need to get the story moving, but if you take away all the needless awkward exchanges from later in the movie, you'd have plenty of time to build Tessa's character more. Right, that's out of my system, onto the good. The movie was fun. Like, it was dumb and silly, but when I left the theatre I thought, that was fun. I had a fun time at the movies. It wasn't like Dark Phoenix, where I came out wishing someone would neuralize me. I came out of Men in Black in a pretty good mood. The film starts on a nice note, using the same font as the original movies, and the opening transition uses tilt shift to make Paris look really interesting. The opening sequence ramps up to get cool, and then it cuts to something completely different. Why? Oh well, here's Tessa Thompson as a child. The Men in Black show up because there's an alien at her house, and neuralize her parents, but she doesn't get hit even though she was watching from the window. I can already feel myself veering to the bad, so back to the good. This film has the most dramatic shot of a mop hitting the floor that I've ever seen. It was hilarious and I loved it. Honestly, whilst writing this script, it's the only shot of the film I can vividly remember. One thing I love in these types of movies, and this movie is no different, is how the secret world blends in with our world. It was done in an interesting way here. I really like these weird force fields that were around every area where the Men in Black operated. It was a nice quick way to explain why the public weren't present in most of the action scenes, but as soon as you give it some thought, it kind of falls apart. It's a common theme of this movie, but there was also this dude. Somehow the CGI comic relief was pretty good in this movie. There were some jokes that fell flat, but overall he was a nice addition to the movie, and some of his jokes were pretty funny. Seriously though, this dude's equivalent are these guys. How was he the best part of this movie? There was a lot I didn't like about this movie, but keep in mind I did have a fun time. There was just a lot of dumb shit in here. I'm going to pick out some specific points from this movie, but no spoilers. If I talk about something specific, it's been shown in the trailer to some capacity. I already talked about how I found Tessa finding the Men in Black a little forced and contrived. So, to reiterate, it needed more time to actually not feel like the movie was just forcing plot to happen. There was also no hastiness in this movie at all. Like, at all. Characters in high-pressure situations would just walk about, and there was one specific dialogue where the characters should have acted one way, but took the piss. It left a really bad taste in my mouth afterwards. Speaking of dialogue, it was bad. There was so much forced exposition, and you were told the same thing from about 3 different characters 4 different times. Some interesting dialogue that was missing from the film were things like, the editing didn't help either. There's this thing in film, where you start a character's line off screen, and then you cut to them. It helps flow, and shows other characters reacting to them. This film didn't have that, and it made every exchange feel awkward. A character would say a line, then stop. The shot would linger for a second, then we'd cut to our next character, who would wait for a second before saying their line, rinse and repeat for every exchange. I'm pretty sure if you add up all the awkwardness, you'd account for half the runtime of the movie. That wasn't the worst thing though. You remember this scene from the trailer?
Are you suggesting that we try the most powerful weapon in the galaxy for fun?
Do it.
Press the button. Turn it up a few.
It was dumb. Chris and Tessa get a hold of this weapon, which is powered by a freaking star. Now, instead of being safe about it, they have to get a cool shot for the trailer, so they test it. They test it. Why? How? What? Why would you do that? You have a weapon with a blue giant in it, right?
O-type stars are giants. They're hotter than the sun, 10 to 50 times as massive, and throw out titanic amounts of ultraviolet radiation. With these stars, you don't worry about sunburn, but extinction.
Something that is 10,000 times more powerful than the sun, and they decide to test it in the desert. This might seem like a small nitpick, but seriously, these guys are meant to save the world, and having a weapon that is a fucking star and not knowing what it does and then proceeding to use it goes completely against that. It's a fucking star. Overall, this movie was seriously dumb fun. It is enjoyable, but it's not smart. If you're a fan of Men in Black, you will probably enjoy this movie, but for overall enjoyment, I recommend grabbing some friends, grabbing some popcorn, and just having a relaxing, fun, dumb time at the movies. It's been a month now, and slowly I've been growing. It's been a lot of fun, and I've learned a lot, and I'm slowly starting to mold into the style I'm aiming for, and hopefully you'll help me with that growth. If you made it to the end and enjoyed, why not check out my other videos and subscribe?